Welcome everybody back to Boost Motion, guys, and today I want to talk about Nissan Z prices because I was actually looking into purchasing a Z, and I've been watching this market for the last year and about 6 months ever since it came out. So I want to do a price market update on where the price of the Nissan Z is headed. So guys, let's jump into the video. First thing, much love to my Boost Motion family. I really appreciate you guys for your support. But today we're going to talk about this Nissan Z. You guys know I used to own a VR30, Infiniti Q50, and Infiniti Q60 with the VR30. And I've been looking more and more into these prices over the last year and a half, especially when the Nissan Proto came out, then the Sport and the Performance, and even the Nissan Nismo. We didn't even see the Nismo coming, but it came out very fast. So anyways, I'm using the car gurus because they take the price trends, the average price trends of dealer pricing, and they pretty much just plot on a chart for you. So we're going to include the 2023 and 2024. Now, I have the start date as 2022. I just really want to go back pretty far. I mean, I went back pretty far anyways. Let's make sure we have an updated chart. Okay. Now, I did plot in 2023, 2024. Now, this is going to include all Zs. Okay, this is also going to include the Proto. This is going to include, sorry about that. It's going to include everything. So, if you guys want to already take a look, when I first made the video about a year ago, I said the Nissan Pros were selling for over MSRP. Everybody's rushing out buying these cars over MSRP. And I said it clearly on this video. If you're paying above sticker for these cars, you're going to lose money if you keep it in the long term because the prices are not going to stay up forever. When something is limited edition and the flagship or the first edition, they're going to be sell for over MSRP. But after that, the prices will drop, and that's necessarily what happened. So let's take off the plot of 2023 or 2024, and let's just leave it as 2023. If you guys take a look at the plotted chart. People paid about $81,000 on average for the Nissan Proto, right? Close to about $81,000. Then a year later, December of 2023, the car was only worth $54,000. I believe this was mainly the Protos. The Protos that were probably reducing the price because they were really only ones on the market, and then the Sports and the Sport and the Performances started getting sold too. Those were selling a little bit closer to MSRP, but people were still paying above sticker when this stuff was coming out. Now, if we go almost a year and a half later, right? We're about a year and a half later. The average selling price of a 2023 Nissan Z is $45,000. Here's what I want to say on video, right? This price is still high. And you want to know why this price is still high at $44,000 on the average price? Because if you take a Nissan Sport, I think it's a Nissan Sport, not the Performance, but Sport, it's supposed to be MSRP about $39,000. Depending on the option, it might have been a $45,000 car. So you're telling me a year later, the car is selling retail for about $45,000. Now, that is retail, guys. When you go and look at the dealer auction market, this car is probably worth, I'm just throwing out a number, $30,000. It might be worth between $25,000 to $30,000 in auction. So because these dealers want to make between 20 to 25% pretty much 20 to 25% of when they purchase these cars from auction. So that car might be worth about $30,000. So essentially, you're gonna go buy a 2023 for 45,000 miles, which is the original MSRP of the car. Because some of the first owners paying above sticker, and now once you buy that car, you're already down about $15,000. Now, some of you guys that are watching will sit there and say, well, that's how the car market is anyway. So you're going to always be purchasing cars that's so much of a big, huge difference. But it's never been this bad. The pandemic really messed it up. So the difference in M&R and the retail value is huge. It's a very huge price. Sometimes the margins would be like 10, maybe even less, 5%, 5 to 15%. This is before COVID. But now I hate to say it's very drastic. It's hugely drastic. Now, also, if you want to get a loan on these cars, because most of these cars, you guys are not going to purchase with cash, right? You're going to have to finance that vehicle. A lot of these banks now are saying, well, before they were borrowing above LTV, pretty much they'll give you even extra money depending on the value of the car. But now because prices of the values of cars are so low, knowing that the car is going to have be pressed to sell for $30,000 at the dealer's auction, they're gonna sit there and say, well, we're gonna need at least $5,000 to $10,000 just to get the $45,000 car. And that also explains gap insurance. You know what I'm saying? The gap insurance companies are saying that if it's only selling for 30 at M&R and you're selling for 45, we have to cover that huge gap. Stop thinking that the insurance companies are going to total out your car if you get in an accident and give you what you owe. The gap insurance here is almost could be about $10,000 to $15,000. So they would ask for a lot of money up front just to be approved to get this loan for $45,000. And we still have high interest rates, even though interest rates will be coming down this week. Or right now we're filming 9/14/2024. They're supposed to lower the interest rate between 0.25 to zero point 0.5 percentage points. So, but we got to wait like another year for it to come down a good, maybe 1% to 1.5%. So we got to wait and see. But take a look at it. A year to date, we have 18%. This is a very huge drop, right? And I know some of y'all watching like, but that's good. That means the car's worth what I paid for. No, if you go buy right now a 2023 and 2024 in September, you're still gonna have a huge spread on how much you own that vehicle, especially if you buy a sport or a performance. If you buy a performance for like 45, that was about $50,000 car. That's probably not too bad. But if you buy a sport right now, base, the regular silver or gray one, the bunch of those, that pretty much no one really wants. You ain't got nothing special. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're paying too much. Now, here's how you know how bad the pricing is. Let's add 2024, right? These cars are not selling. 2024 now are sitting on the dealer's lots, and no one's running to Infinity, or not, sorry, I say Infinity. I know it's the Infinity channel, Nissan, to purchase these vehicles. No one's running. They're hard pressed. So you're actually seeing some kind of dealer rebates, and they're trying to get these cars off the lot. Now take a look. About 9 months ago, the car came up. Well, someone bought it for $90,000. I don't even know why that was a thing. I'm thinking that spike is because of the Nismo. People rushed out and bought the Nismos as quickly as they can, but then 2 months later, we went to about $60,000 because those cars were not selling. Plus, it was probably around Christmas time, I'm assuming. So that's probably why there was a rush to say, I got a brand new Nismo. But here's the thing. Nismo was a $60,000 car. Well, guess what? The average price in February and March, the price has just been declining steadily. So right around that average price is what is this about? I'm assuming about $50 to $55,000 now for those cars. Let me just take that off. $50 to $55,000 for those cars. We're right around here now. Now, yeah, about $50,000. So that's still above that average price. Could be because of the Nismo that's bumping the price up a little bit. But then maybe but even then, are people really still paying over? I don't know. That could be why the average cost is above $52,000. Because if a sport is about $42,000 to $45,000, and a performance is about $50,000. That would probably make sense. Why it's on the average price $50,000 to $55,000 to $60,000. That's probably why. There's probably performances are bumping it up and the Nismos. But even then, right now, 2024, if anyone's buying it, they're losing a lot of money. Let's take a look at that. So in the last 90 days, the 2024 has dropped about 6.07%. And in the last 30 days, 5%. So its biggest loss was just in the last month. So these cars, brand new off the lot, are dropping. It could also be some people who bought earlier 2024 is about 6 months ago, and they're just trying to unload the car because they paid over MSRP. Remember, people are still paying over MSRP last year, at the end of last year. So this is where the state of the Nissan Z is at. I still don't like where we're sitting with this. Let's see. Look, this one's a 2024 Nissan Performance Road Drive. They sell them for $48,000, and then they have another one in white, a Sport, which is supposed to be $10,000 cheaper, selling for $42,000. Well, for $42,000. So they are coming down in price. But I can sit there and see these cars are probably new. But let's take a look, because we're already here. We might as well take a look and just see what's with this. I have 10 results. Let's see what's close. Nismos are selling for $60,000. This one has 902 miles on it. So this person bought this car and already got rid of it. Like, they already got rid of the car. They're not even interested in this vehicle. Then we have a Proto here selling for $45,000. People spent $70,000 on this car, and boom. Oh, it says Performance Road Drive. So then take it back. Someone wrapped it that color then, because it's not a performance. You have 41, 47. It's very super low mileage, but even then, a 2023 Performance selling for $47,000 with 2,500 miles. this car is supposed to have depreciated already. I don't if this car MSRP was 52,000, it only lost 5 grand on the retail value with 2,500 miles, and a year later, that sounds good to you guys, but you gotta understand the car market was already priced so high, so they can't drop that fast, right? Performance a year ago was probably costing, if it was on a used market, if someone purchased it, was probably costing like $56 to $60,000. It was probably a lot more above MSRP. So we have a lot more downturn for these cars. Sports is selling for 40, 41. This is a proper price, I think. It's probably still very close to MSRP, but at this point, it's better to just buy, I hate to say it, a 2024 because you're getting a better deal. Yes, it's a brand new car. It's going to depreciate, but if you're purchasing a 2023 performance road drive for 45,000, right? Look at the screen, guys. You have a 2023 Nissan Z Performance road drive for 45,000, and you have a 2024 Nissan Z Performance road drive for 48,000, right? Which one has appreciated more? And which one? Tell me, which one has appreciated more? Let me just move the screen over a little bit. I'm sorry, right? Which one has appreciated more? Which one would you rather buy? Of course, you're not going to want to buy the 2023 because it has 12,000 miles, but they want 45,000. And you have a 2024. Both ways you're going to lose on it. But I would rather buy the 2024 just because it's probably below its MSRP from what it was already sold for. But that 2023 model is way less worth. It's worth way less at the dealer auction. 45,000 is because the market is still demanding it. Not demanding it, but they don't want to push it down too much. Plus, that dealer might have lost a lot on that car. And let me see if there's any other examples here. There's only 10. This one is a 2024 brand new one, performance for 60 grand. Think about that. This one's saying 60 grand. Slap that hood, $60,000. 2,000 miles on it, $12,000 cheaper, right? I mean, it depends on the options on the vehicle. This one performance is 50 grand, right? They want 50 grand for it, depending on what the options are on it. Or maybe they just labeled it wrong, whatever, performance, but they want 50 grand for it. Boom, this one has 2,000 miles on it. So and that's CarMax too. They actually sell a really good warranty, even though this car still has a warranty. That's not bad. So I'm going to sit there and say it, man. I think at this point, when it comes to the Nissan, let me just say it, the Nissan Z, they're going to be very hard pressed to sell these cars. I love this car because I think it's a good looking car. I think that Nissan messed up a lot. They messed up by selling these cars over MSRP, which made people not want to purchase them unless you can afford it, especially in a high interest rate. And because once you come out and set I would say, the glass ceiling, how much these cars cost, because people spent money over MSRP. What happened was now there's a huge threshold between what they're worth to how much they're selling for. So because of that, just because of the interest rate zone that happened within the last 12 to 24 months, now you have such a huge threshold between what they're worth to what they're selling for. These dealers are not going to be like, all right, well, I know I bought it from the auction for $30,000, but I know that the other last 12 Zs that sold between 40 to about 45 to between 45 to $50,000 on the retail market, because those are the only examples. So I'm gonna price my car very similar to what the market is saying. What would have to happen is no one should buy any used Nissan Zs, right? If you just don't buy any at all, the dealers will sell them. After 3 to 6 months, they'll sell them because most dealerships have a certain amount of money they got to borrow from banks to, just think about credit to buy cars, right? And they have to pay back that interest or those debts every month back to, it's like they call flooring loans or flooring lines, credit. So they have to pay that back with interest. So after 3 months, they're really losing money on cars. So people just have to not buy the car used and just let it sit there for 3 to 6 months. That's why it's always been common practice to buy cars that's been sitting on lots for 6 months. I remember there was a video, if you look it up, this guy wanted to buy the narrow body Hellcat. This is back some years ago. The car sat on the lot for 9 months, and he came there and got the best deal because they wanted to get rid of the car. All right, so if people stop purchasing these cars, which sounds bad, if you bring down the demand, the dealers, all the dealers are just gonna be like, just start budging. The guys who can't really afford to will just be like, all right, I need to go down $1,000 this 2 weeks. I need to go $1,000 next 2 weeks. I need to promote it on Facebook Marketplace, a lot of these places, to try to get rid of, unload the car, and they'll just keep going down, down, and down to the point that they're gonna be like, hey, listen, if I know I bought this car for $30,000, I'm selling it for 40. The market might say 45, everybody, but I'm gonna just sell it for 40. Try to get you in the door, and sometimes they try to add on the add-ons to add some more money to it, but just cut their losses. I think they should just push it lower. It's a 2023 model. The 2024s are selling for the same price. If you want to unload the car, if you spent $30,000 or $30,000 at a dealer's auction, or maybe even lower for this car, sell it 20% gain. You unload it off the market. I know I'm not a dealership person. I used to sell stuff, but not that type of stuff. But if I ever had a dealership, that's how I would do it. At the end of the day, I don't want cars sitting there forever. And I understand that they always sit there and say, oh, we're losing money on it. No. Sometimes you're losing money if it sits there too long. This is not a high-demand car. This is not a car that's flying off the shelf. And the person that's buying this car is going to have to put between $5,000 to $10,000 down. I get it. So it'll cover that spread. You're just waiting for the right buyer. No. Sell it for 40, right? That person's going to say, you sit there and look and see that you have the cheapest and most affordable one. Of course, they're going to like, can I get a lower? Tell them, no. The cheapest on the market, cash and or finance, and $5,000 to $10,000 down, of course, depending on the bank that they're working, creditworthiness, and let them go with a good deal. That's it. And even then, I still don't think it's a good deal, because if they buy a Sport for $40,000 and about to be 2025, I think they're still overpaying for the car. But it's still cheaper than what the market is demanding. That's what I'm saying. That's my honest opinion, honestly. I think either we bring down the demand, if people just spend both these cars less and give it 3 to 6 months, and the prices of the 2023s are going to continue to fall, period. And let's go back at that chart one more time. I'm sorry. I got to go back to the chart, because it shows the numbers. It shows where we're headed and what's going to happen, right? We're there again, 2022. This is what's going to happen, right? That 2023 is going to continue. Let's see if we can switch it up to just the last year, or the last 2024. Let's leave it the last 5 months, right? Update the chart, right? That black line, which is whatever, is going to continue to fall. Yeah, the black line is it's going to continue to fall. It's about $45,000 just in the last 6 months, or the last close to 4 or 5 months, from 50,000 to 46. We need to push this down lower. The 2023 model should be a Sport should be a $35,000 car by now. So we got a long way to go. But look at the prices. They're dropping, man. 18%, 22% in 2023 over the last year. They're going to depreciate a lot more in the next year. I think by a year from now, you see how we have 22%? I think it's going to be like 30% a year from now, in the next summer, fall. It's gonna be like 30% on top of wherever it's at. This is gonna be a high 30s car. It's gonna be like 30,000 to like 35,000 for a 2023 model next year. And now you're gonna see a lot more people buy these cars, because interest rates will be down at least a percentage point to maybe 1.5, which is gonna makes this a little bit more affordable based on financing. And $30,000 Nissan Z is a lot more affordable for the average day person than a $50,000 freaking Nissan Z. That's it. So the depreciation will catch up. It'll get there. So just be patient. I'm sorry for the guys, but this car is going to be a great car for the second and third owners. The first owners, you guys paid a lot. And I lost a lot of money on my E63S. And that wasn't even a brand new car. But I lost a lot of money on that car. And I'm still salty about it. But you know what? I ain't really trying to lose much money on cars again. Period. So outside of that, guys, you have good morning, good afternoon, good night. I really appreciate you guys for your support. Definitely hit the like button, subscribe on the bell notification. And to my Nissan Z people, don't get mad at me, yo. Y'all be getting upset. Y'all just got here with the VR30. Cool off. Q50, Q60 guys been dealing with this forever. And we fast anyway, because y'all can't hook. Y'all guys take care. I appreciate you.